won't you stay focused? Come over in short notice. I could make you feel some type of way. I could put you in your place.
What is up, y'all? I'm just sharing my casual take on the Nike Free Run 5.0 and my personal thoughts after wearing the shoe for a little over 6 months. I will say that the shoe isn't positioned probably for everyone, but it's positioned in a very interesting and niche market. So if it appeals to you and you feel like you can rock the look of this shoe, we'll definitely listen in, and hopefully this gives you some information to help you make a decision if this shoe's for you. I'll start by saying that I definitely like the shoes. I feel that Nike has had quite a few versions over the years where they've adapted this shoe from the very first versions that I used to have almost a decade ago. There was the Nike 3.0, and then they had the Nike 2.0. This was around like the 2010, like 2013 era from my memory. I think at this point though, just given all the different types of shoes that have been created, what Nike has positioned this shoe as based on their website, and then just from what I've experienced with the materials personally, it's a little bit odd. It doesn't really do any one thing really well, and I think it's just a very different looking shoe, and I think it just might change the arsenal of kicks that you have in your current closet. So I'll go ahead and break down my thoughts on this. This is going to be coming from a functionality perspective, just as like a daily driver shoe, walking around, just doing day-to-day tasks. Is this something that I would go ahead and wear to work in a public place with different outfits? And I think what's probably the most important piece is if these shoes can perform a functional task within the gym for physical activity. I think the shoes initially were positioned as barefoot runners back with like the Nike 3 era, even the Nike 2. But I feel like with these shoes, because there is that whole line of minimalist and barefoot style shoes, these shoes don't really achieve that barefoot functionality if that's something that you're looking for. But I do think that this shoe offers a nice like transition period if you're looking to have something just like in between your traditional shoe and then maybe a barefoot minimalist shoe. This shoe kind of falls somewhere in between. I'll go ahead and take a second to talk about the packaging. I saved the box from when I bought these a little while back. So I got myself a size 10.5 in US men's. There's this nice little interesting copy at the top about moving to zero. Nike has its little like special logo about recycling and environment and stuff. I feel like it's more of like a marketing ploy, but it's here. And there's a little note here, and this is also on like one of the tags that's included with the shoes about saying how the shoe is made up of 20% recycled content by weight. Whatever recycled materials they used here make up like 20% of the whole weight of the shoes. I think they're just looking to appeal to a slightly more sustainable audience. These are not probably the most ideal situation if you're looking for a shoe that's focused on sustainability. So I'll give a quick overview of the actual aesthetic of the shoe and some of the materials. To start, the shoe is pretty low profile. There is quite a beefy and chunky outsole on the heel portion, and the Nike Free Run line has differentiated the different product models by the different number indicated by the heel to toe drop. This Free Run is the middle of the line, 5.0. I think the chunkiest one they've made is like a 9.0, so like a 9mm drop, which is pretty steep, and I don't even know why that would be under the Nike Free line. But this one's kind of just right in the middle at a 5.0. But you can kind of see just on the side, there's that move to zero icon on the heel. There's some nice like speckled effects here. The color that I chose specifically was Next Nature. It's kind of a special color that I don't see on their website now. Maybe it just wasn't super popular, but it came out as kind of a more exclusive, kind of niche colorway versus the traditional black and white pairs that you see a lot of people wearing. You'll kind of see here on the little tongue, it's not even like a tongue, it's more of just like a tongue tab up on the top. You'll see the little move to zero Nike. It's kind of like a 70s, 80s type of visual graphic. On the back, there's some hits of color. There's like a lot of primary colors. You got some red and some blue. And then there are these yellow flywire accents on the front that kind of help differentiate it a little bit from the traditional black or the white that's used. So some nice little hits of color there. Looking at the top of the shoe, the forefoot, it's like a neoprene cotton up at the top. There are some reflective pieces here. I don't know why you would probably want to take these out at night, but you can if you were planning to do some like road running in the evenings. Looking inside, there is no insole that comes with the shoe. There's a nice little like Nike logo still in that like 70s kind of groovy font, but there is no insole, so you can't remove that piece in there, but you could insert any insole inserts that you might have. And on the outsole, this looks like a general Phylon material on the outside. Kind of see that there's perforations on the forefoot, midfoot, and the heel. And then at the very top of the shoe, if you can kind of see here, there's some rubber that they've added just to kind of help with some of the traction, I guess, if you just take this outdoors, to help minimize some of the wear and tear on the shoe. And I will note, over the 6 months, I've not really taken these outside a whole lot, but you'll see that there's a little bit of wear on the outsole of the shoe already. And this is just like foam. So if you do plan on using these outside, you're probably not going to have as much mileage as I've been having in these shoes, mainly doing indoor jogs and indoor workouts. I think just looking at this from a functional perspective, one thing that's super nice is this really generous heel tab. These shoes almost act like slippers because it has this like neoprene type of stretchy upper that's almost like a sock. And it has this super big heel tab here with a little bit of structure with this nice heel counter, if you can call it that. It's still pretty flimsy, and you can kind of see there's not much with this like stretchy material here holding the shoe down. Sliding your foot into the shoe is super duper simple, and it's super easy to take off. I've really only tied these once, and I've never really had to retie them after the first time. You'll kind of see that the shoe is pretty wide in the forefoot area, and it's not like super wide like you'll see with a lot of barefoot shoes that promote a lot of like the toe splay. It makes any lateral type of movements, if you're into CrossFit or any type of quick cut movement in your workouts, your foot will tend to slide over both tops of the forefoot area. And because there's not a whole lot of structure here outside of this like rubber piece kind of holding the heel down, this is going to be moving a lot as well. So I would not recommend this shoe for anything other than just like your casual workouts, walks, and anything where you're just kind of moving forwards and backwards. All right, so again, we have the Nike 10.5 US men's size here, and then this is a size 10 Vans Old School shoe here. So it's a little bit subtle, but you can kind of see that this shoe is a little bit wider. When you wear it on feet, just because the center midfoot of the shoe is a lot thinner, it accentuates that very duck-like outsole on the forefoot area, as you can kind of see. So it kind of is shaped slightly more like your natural foot. I think that's what Nike was trying to go for, at least here. So they kind of got like halfway if you compare it to like barefoot minimalist shoes. All right, so I think what a lot of people tend to buy the Nike Frees for, or what they think these shoes are built for, is for workouts and for running, because it is positioned as a free running shoe. And if you go onto their website, they market this as a light road running shoe or something that you can run on the track for training, not for like high performance. So I'd say after my time working out, and I usually go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week, I would say this shoe is more of just a casual gym shoe, if anything. It's good for indoor runs, and I think if you're doing some light road running, you'll probably get like a solid year out of this at the most, until that outsole starts to wear out because it's made of foam. It's just a little interesting because this isn't a dedicated barefoot running shoe. Because it has a 5mm heel to toe drop, you still have a lot of cushioning in the Phylon section of this outsole here. So if you're looking to do that barefoot running style, you're gonna want like a more minimalist shoe for your training. At the end of it, most people just don't run in any shoe at all if they're trying to do that. For me personally, I don't run in this shoe any more than about 1 to 3 miles. And this would be primarily on a treadmill, and then if I'm just doing an outdoor run for the day. I would say that the most you probably could get out of this is maybe like 5 to 10 miles if you're super solid, but I look at this like a pace-changing training shoe only, to kind of like get you into that mentality of running on your forefoot rather than the heel strike method. Even though there is a little bit of cushion here, it's kind of like a good transition shoe if you're moving from like a Nike Pegasus or something like an Asics that's more padded, or a Hoka shoe, and then you're looking to go towards something more like a Vivo barefoot shoe or something that's more minimal with a 0 heel to toe drop. So in terms of lifting weights, I would say just take these if you're doing your upper body days and maybe some light lower body plyometrics, but I wouldn't recommend these if you're looking to squat, deadlift, or do any shoulder press where you're compressing that outsole a lot. I think the biggest thing is when you squat in the shoe and you're going more than like maybe 35% of your max, the outsole kind of squishes in. It's very soft, so you feel like you're just kind of squatting in marshmallows. And I think it's just a helpful general note that a lot of people tend to follow is not to lift heavy in running shoes, because that's not what they were designed to do. So to just keep it brief, I wouldn't be wearing these shoes at work or just walking around in my day-to-day if I'm looking to have like a more stylistic outfit. So I think that the duck-like sock upper isn't really the most ideal to pair with a lot of your different outfits. But if you're looking to have a more functional shoe over a fashionable shoe, I think this shoe is a great option. One thing to note, if you're wearing this to work, it's not as bad now that I've had the shoe for like 6 months and some of the foam outsole has been wearing out. When you first take the shoes out of the box and start wearing them around, they're super squeaky. They're probably the squeakiest shoes I've ever owned in my life. If you're wearing them on any smooth surfaces at all, whether it's just like a granite floor, something that was just polished or mopped, or even some smooth tiles, people are definitely going to hear you from a mile away. So those are my thoughts on the Nike Free Run 5.0. I would say that it is a great casual shoe for just performing your everyday errands, everyday tasks. It's more of a functional shoe over a fashionable shoe. And if you're taking it to the gym, I wouldn't do anything that is high performance oriented, and I would definitely not squat, deadlift, or do any type of heavy lifts specifically in this shoe if you can avoid it. I definitely like the shoe, and I really think that they did a great job with this specific color. It's just a very weird type of looking minimalist shoes. I was a little worried at first that these shoes wouldn't hold up over time, just given the shoe is so sock-like and it has a lot of foam on the outsole without durable rubber, but the shoes held up just fine. So at the time of this video, this shoe is still for sale on the Nike website. Came out initially in 2021. Shoes priced at $100 retail in USD. Most of these Nike Frees tend to go on sale very, very often. I've almost never seen these just at full retail price. I do think that this color is not available anymore. It's also, I mean, it's a little bit of an like unique color, so I understand why they might not be carrying it, but I think this was just exclusive at the time earlier in the 2023 year. Well, I hope this video was helpful in helping you decide if this was a shoe that you would like to include in your kicks arsenal. If you like this video or like to see more videos like this, or I just give my personal thoughts after using a product I've personally purchased, feel free to go ahead and give this video a like, and it helps me out if you subscribe to the channel.